Welcome back to Real Fishing 2, the walkthrough. Today we are heading to the mountains of Japan to catch the elusive Amago trout. Amago trout. I am not sure exactly how it's pronounced. Interesting, this being made by Japanese developers, there's probably a lot of Japanese species that they like to fish for that are popular in Japan. So here is Amago trout or Amago trout. We are in the month of May, it looks like. I have been here before. The peaceful landscape of a river in the mountains. It talks about abundant oxygen where the current changes course or speed. Splendid signs of fish, so expect many bites if you can focus in on a good spot. I do love the way these are localized. So this is listed as stage 12. Now stage 11, you won't unlock until you have completed both stage 10, the largemouth bass, and also stage 4, the red sea bream requirement. So if you beat stage 10 with the largemouth bass, that's catching the bluegill and the bass, and you also have beaten the red sea bream level, you'll unlock the Satsuki trout. If you beat the largemouth bass before you beat the red sea bream, you'll unlock this level first. Now there is a condition that says in the manual, if you can check the Twitter link in the description to this video, by the way, if you'd like to see this flowchart that shows you when the stages appear. There is a note about stage 11. If you skip stage 11, it will unlock after you beat stage 17. Now, I was surprised when I unlocked it after beating the red sea bream. So I guess I had not beaten Amago trout yet, so I hadn't gone on to 13 at that moment. So the flowchart of levels is pretty interesting here. I'm looking at the baits. I specifically was looking for one that listed Amago trout, although I believe they'll bite on a lot of different baits in this area. You can do fly fishing in these streams, although the timing of casting the fly is different than in the first Real Fishing game, and I found it to be quite a bit more laborious, I guess you would say. A lot more work to cast a fly in this game. You had to, it seemed like, put a lot more strokes into getting a fly to go a respectable distance. So here we are with the stream pole. These Amago trout are a fast hit. You have to get them almost right away. So when that strike indicator goes down, you've got to get them right away. The stream pole does not have a reel sound because I believe the way they're depicted, the way they show it in the menu, is that it's just a cane pole. So I think we're fishing for these fish with just literally a cane pole. Amago trout are tough fighters. They'll kick that hook out pretty quickly and pretty easily. So that's why I always tune the line up to the strongest line strength I can get. The manual does say that this will give you fewer bites if you have a stronger line strength, which is the case in real life. If you have really thick, stout line going right up to the hook, that can reduce your number of bites. But it doesn't seem to be a handicap that is insurmountable. And I would rather be able to land the fish that I hook a little bit more easily. So that sound tells me that this is not a foot longer. So that is the requirement for Amago trout is over a foot. So you can tell the sound the fish makes when it makes a turn or when it swims. That is the less than 1 foot sound. And indeed, that one was 6.81 inches. So we need something over a foot to advance to the next level. And we're a few fish in on this session. And this is another fish smaller than a foot. Something that I should note on these videos, these are not usually just me loading up a level and playing it straight through. There are oftentimes edits, cuts, and jumps, and this is often not the first time I've gone to this level. I believe, although I don't have firm evidence of this looking at the game code, but I believe that to start seeing fish that are the size you need to complete, there is a counter that is kept track of. So once you catch a certain number of fish in an area, then you will start seeing those larger fish. I can't say that for sure, but I do believe that the game keeps track of your progress through a level. It's just this is all just based on observation, but I have yet to really catch or hook the kind of size of fish you need to advance a level on the first or second try. But once I have caught a good number of fish in an area, I start to see and hook those fish quite a bit more often. And that would make sense if I was a programmer. So it's a little bit of just deduction there based on what I see and based on if I was a designer, how would I simulate that or give my player the most fun. While we're waiting to hook the Amago trout that's going to win us this level, I'm wondering. Now, this is another less than a foot longer. I'm wondering what this game will be like once we have completed stage 18. There is a hidden stage, question mark, in the manual. So I don't know what stage that is. And I also wonder, it doesn't indicate it in the manual, but in Real Fishing 1, they gave you reason to go back to the other levels earlier in the game. There are far fewer stages in Real Fishing 1, but the game had built in a system to go back and try to catch an even bigger fish. So you could advance from a level by catching a fish of a certain size, but then there was a motivation to unlock that final stage and get the better ending to go back and catch those other fish. And there's even some kind of mystery requirement in that game also that I don't believe I completed in my last series of the Real Fishing 1 walkthroughs. Go check those out if you haven't already. As I'm working my way through Real Fishing 2. We're definitely making good progress on the fresh and saltwater levels of this game. Right there, this tells me, that sound tells me that is a foot longer. Hopefully you can hear the difference between the sounds. The force feedback on the DualShock controller is also a little different. And then if the next step up for a 2-foot fish, the force feedback is even stronger. So it's interesting that they put that in. When you hook a larger fish, the controller is vibrating in your hand at a really steady rate, almost constantly. It's actually can make your hands a little bit numb, but that feedback is valuable. It does give you information. You can get that information from sound and video cues alone, but it's a lot more difficult in my opinion. So the force feedback is pretty important in this game if you want to really develop a touch. Not to say that I have a super strong touch with this game, but the force feedback really does help if you have a DualShock controller. So it should be noted, I suppose, in this video that this is all captured on real hardware. I don't have an upscaler for my PlayStation 2, so this is going to it's still in composite video. I don't have an upscaler, I don't have component. I do have S-Video from my PlayStation, but I don't actually have an S-Video adapter for my Elgato Capture, and it looks like they're not making those anymore, so it's kind of sad that I don't have access even at least to the S-Video. That's why this is in the ratio that it's in. This is another foot longer. You can tell by the sound the fish is making. That's the sound, so that can tell me that. And even I could tell this was a larger fish as I was recording this, that the force feedback was a lot stronger when the strike indicator went down. You get a little buzz from the vibration just before the strike indicator sinks down. And let's listen. And that is indeed 1.09 feet, just over that 1 foot mark. And that's going to do it for the Amago trout. Again, I don't know if I'm going to be coming back to this level, but I have enjoyed my time up here in the Green Mountains of Japan here in the month of May. It sounds great. Next time we are going to be going backwards to the Satsuki trout levels. We are going to be catching a Satsuki trout in a similar stage to this one, although we'll be using lures instead of bait in that stage. If you have liked this series of videos, check out the other ones here. I also have the Real Fishing Relaxation, that is just the moving JPEG backgrounds with the music and sound effects. And let me know what you think about these. I've appreciated the comments, and hit me up on Twitter where I'm also active _ATE. We will see you in the next video.